Um, perfect. I got your chat, Christina and Cindy. Thank you very much, because Jan was the last one we were waiting on, Cindy, so perfect. All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Macy. I'm the marketing specialist here with K-State Research and Extension. As far as kind of folks on the line that are here to help with the training, I've also got Kim Bird. She's a client manager with Kansas State University and handles a lot of the College of Ag stuff, so she and I work very closely together, as well as Kathy Rodriguez and David Pendergana. Sorry if I misspelled or mispronounced your name, David, but both David and Kathy are wonderful IT folks that have been working very hard for the past couple weeks to get this K-State Research and Extension template up and going, and so they're actually going to be the ones conducting training. So just a few housekeeping items. Thank you guys for your interest in the K-State Research and Extension e-newsletter template. We're really excited about this as we try to move forward with consistent branding and finding opportunities for those to utilize e-newsletters effectively and efficiently and easily. So I'm really excited about this new WordPress format. It's very easy to use, so at any time, we want to make this as interactive as possible, even though this is via Zoom. So Kathy will be walking step by step through several of the different features. As you have questions, please feel free to chat them in the box, and either Kim or myself or even Kathy and David might see them and address those. We'll have time at the end to have open discussions and questions, but if you're, Kathy's gonna, like I said, gonna walk step by step. So if you have a question about a particular step, feel free to ask those questions at that time. If you have just a generic question, please hold those to the end and we'll have a question and answer system. So we don't have a certain time limit, so we want to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered. David did a great job helping us at the last minute get together URL names for everybody. So if you have the opportunity to have double monitors and you can pull up your template as well as follow along with Kathy, please feel free to do so. If you don't have that double monitor option, I would probably recommend just to follow along with Kathy and take good notes, just because it is more complex. It's easier to see her and watch her do things and then go back to them yourself. So with that, if I haven't missed anything, Kim or Kathy, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and turn everything over to Kathy. So again, if you have questions, feel free to chat them to me or to everyone, and one of us will see it and get those answered. So thank you guys very much for coming.
Okay, I need to share my screen real quick.
Kathy, are you talking?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Kathy, we can't hear you for some reason. Or I can't.
Can anyone else hear me?
I can hear you.
I tested earlier and David could hear me, so I wonder if it's just you.
Yeah, I can hear as well.
Okay, can someone send her a chat that others are hearing me?
Sorry about that. Apparently my headphones have to be plugged in for me to hear you, so thanks.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. What I have here is the K-State Research and Extension template that's been created, and then I'm just going to go through what a completed newsletter would look like, and then we'll go through step by step and create some of these things. So you'll notice here at the top, this is the name of the newsletter, the beginning of time, and there's also a tagline that goes along with your newsletter that you don't actually see, but when people bookmark your page, you can see that up here in the your tab. So you want to make this descriptive, and since this looks just like a K-State web page, you want to make the name of your newsletter different than what your department site is, or so it's just a tip there. So this first thing we see here is called a header image. So you can have a header image on your page. You can change those out. The dimensions for that are 950 by 270. And if you need any help creating an image, you can contact Megan or DCM. So, and then over here on the left is just your navigation. These are what are called pages, and I'll show you how you can create these pages. And then you have your contact information and the social icons if you need those created. You can contact Megan for that, and she'll coordinate that with DCM. In the center is where your articles are. Those are called posts inside of when you're creating your newsletter, but every article has its own. And I'm going to scroll down and look at some of the features in the articles. So in this particular one, it's just an article, and it has a video in there. And then down here, we have a couple more articles. And with these, we have what's called a featured image. And these two articles have featured images. So notice that they're the same size and location, so it makes it look nice and uniform on your page. And then we also have this continue reading. And I'll show you how you can create that link here in a second. But if your articles are really long, you can use this, it's called a more tag. You can use this so a single article doesn't take up so much space on your main page. And then this is another article that just has an image. It's not a featured image, it's just an image in the post. And then these that have the continue reading, in order to read the full article, you click the continue reading link, and then it will show the whole article. Okay. I had one more. Anyway, okay, if you're not signed in yet, how you sign in is you go down to the bottom, and then there's this updated link. I'm already signed in, so I'm not going to click on that, but if you did, it would take you to your EID and password that you need to enter. And then this is called the admin bar at the top of the screen. And if you click on that, you can go to your dashboard. So, and this is a toggle. It'll go between your live site and what's called the dashboard. So I'm going to just click dashboard. And then if I want to go back to live site, I just click that again, or mouse over it and click visit site. Okay. We're going to spend most of our time in the dashboard, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard. Just a second here. And then we're just going to go ahead and create a post. There's a couple ways that you can create posts. So I'll just show you the different options here. You can click mouse over post and then click add new. You can come up here to the top and click new post. Or you can actually click on the word post and then click add new up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click add new here. And then I have an article over here on my desktop. I'm just going to copy and paste in here. So you're going to put in a title for your post. And then you're going to put in your content. Normally you would just be typing this, but just to save time, I just copied and pasted it. So, and you have some options up here for normal word processing type things. If you happen not to be seeing 2 rows of icons here, you need to click this toolbar toggle, and that will expand that. So, and you can do things like bold, italics, numbered and bulleted lists, alignment, links. So I'm going to look at the link first. So if I want to say turn Kansas State University into a link, I'm going to highlight the text, and then I'm going to click insert link. Then I'm going to type in that URL, and then click add link. Okay. And then another thing that you can do is insert an image. So down here where I have this insert image text, I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm going to come up here above the toolbar and click add media. And you have a media library, so every time something is uploaded, it saves it in there for you. So that's a good way to reuse images. If you don't have any images or you want to upload a new one, you just click upload files and then click select files. And then I'm going to click my image that I want. And over here, you can, if you want to put a caption in, you can do that. Alternate text, you need to do that for accessibility purposes. So if someone was not able to see that image, they would know what the message was trying to convey about that image. I'm just going to put cows in here. And then you have a alignment. It can be center, left, right, or none. I'm just going to leave mine center. Then you can also choose what size you want. Whether it's small or thumbnail, medium, or large, or full size. So I'm just going to leave it as medium, see what it looks like. And then click Insert into Post. So that's kind of small. I'd like that to be a little bigger for this particular layout. So then I can just click on that, click on the pencil to edit it, and change it to the large size. And then click Update. So now I have that image in there. Another thing you can do is add video. So I have a YouTube video open. I'm going to just come over here and copy that URL. And then I just simply paste. And then it puts the video right in there. I'm going to click Save Draft. And you should save often. So as you're working on your articles, just remember to save. And then if I want to see what this looks like, I can click Preview. So now I can see what it looks like. And then I can either come down here and edit to go back to it, or I can go back to the dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and click Edit. And then I talked about that More tag, which gives you the continue reading link earlier. So after this first image, I'm going to go ahead and add that in here. You just go up to the toolbar and click Insert Read More tag. And then I'm going to go ahead and publish this post. You can publish the post immediately, which is what we'll do right here. But you can also, just for your reference, schedule your post. So if you want to publish it at a specific time, you can set that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Publish. And then I'm going to come out here and go back to my site. And now you can see where that continue reading tag is. Some of these microphones are on. Make sure you're muted. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to my dashboard. And then I'm going to click Posts, All Posts, and show you another way that you can edit. So now I can just highlight that article that I want to go back into. I can just click on it, or I can click Edit or Quick Edit. I'm just go ahead and click on it. So another thing we need to do is create a category. And this is basically the frequency when you're going to publish your newsletter. By default, it always has uncategorized checked. So say that you're going to send out your e-newsletters monthly. You're going to create a category for that. So you can see I have April, May already in here. So I'm going to create one for June. And then click Add New Category. And then I'm going to uncheck Uncategorized. And then I'm going to click Update. So once you have it published, it just gives you an update button instead of a published. Another thing we can do is the featured image, which I showed you earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and click Set Featured Image, and it's going to be the same image as this first image we put in the actual post. I'm going to click Set Featured Image, and then select. Okay. I'm going to click Update again. And then I'm going to go and view my live site. So now you'll notice it has the featured image in here. So if you're going to use the featured image along with also having an image in your post, you'll want to make sure they're both not displaying here. So I probably want to go ahead and put my continued reading link before this image. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and change that. And I'll go ahead and click edit here. I'm just going to click on that more tag there, delete it, and then come up here and add it before this image. And then update. Then go ahead and visit the site. So now you can see the featured image is used. These categories are also important because this is how they would get to archives of your various publications. So if you sent something out April and May and they just wanted to see one of those months, they can just click on that. And it'll only show the articles that were published for that particular category. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard. And then I'm going to look at posts and all posts. Just a couple of things here. This gives you a view of everything that you've created. And then it will show you things like the author, the categories, tags. We didn't put any tags in this one, but we will in a second. But if you wanted to quickly edit any of these posts, so for example, these two are still uncategorized. I could select both of those and then come up to bulk actions and click edit. And then I have to click apply. And then if I wanted those to both go into the June category, I can select that here. If I wanted to change the status to published, I could go ahead and do that. These are also different statuses, pending review and draft. You can change your post between statuses. So sometimes if you have a group of you working on it, it'll be in draft until the author is actually done writing it. And then we sometimes put it in pending review if we have our director that wants to approve it before we actually do the publish. So those are different states you can move your articles in between. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and publish and then click update. Now if I go back, you'll see all these articles. I had featured images on these and didn't have the more tag in there, but I already showed you how to do that. So you can also, I'm going to go back to the dashboard and all posts. And I'm going to click on these again. Go back into bulk actions and edit and apply. And I can put those back into draft mode if I want to. And click update. So you can see how that works. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how you can add that blog header that's at the top. So this. So what I want to do is go back to the dashboard. And then over here on the left, you can click Customize, Appearance, and then Customize. And then Header Image. So right now I have this current header, and I could add a new image or hide this image. So if I want to add new, I'll go ahead and click Hide. Then I'm going to click Add a New Image. And upload. And then select and crop, skip cropping. And then you're going to click Save and Publish up here in the top left. Once you save that, you can go ahead and close out of that. And then if I view my site, it's back in there. Some other things that you can add are over here on the right. These boxes are called widgets. And so we've looked at categories already. There's a subscribe by email widget and a tags widget. So I'm going to show you how you can add those. If you have specific questions about these widgets, you can contact Megan. She can help you out. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard. I'm going to go to Parents and Widgets. And these are all the different types of widgets that are available. And if you want to use one, you simply just click and drag it. So say I wanted to use archives, and I just drag it over here to the right. You can put a title on it or just leave it as the default and click Save. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Then come back out and visit site. And then you'll notice it has an archives widget. And the tags widget is useful because this is kind of like keywords. So if they knew the topic they were looking for, but didn't know what you named the article or something, the more keywords you can put in your articles can help them find information on your site. So if I go back to the dashboard, and this one we were working on earlier, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then I could put tags in here. So I could put her nutrition, which is what I did earlier when I was testing this. But whatever the tags might be, you just click on them and then click Add, and then it'll add that to the article. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Publish here.
Kathy, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yep.
Folks, everyone that's on the phone, another opportunity to use tags would be that if you're looking at a district or a county newsletter and using that to combine multiple newsletters that have typically been siloed. So if you've typically had a 4-H newsletter and then a livestock newsletter and a family consumer science newsletter, the tags are an opportunity that you can combine all of those newsletters into one. But then if someone is only interested in 4-H information, you can always tag a 4-H story 4-H. And then folks on the front end can just, if they're not interested in scrolling through all the different information, they can select their appropriate tag. So that's kind of the, other than just sorting information by date in the categories, I think this is a great tool to also separate and sort information based on topic. That way everyone can have, we have one central newsletter that everyone uses, but then it also kind of addresses the fact that some people might only want livestock information or only want 4-H information. If that's the case, they can then utilize those tags. So continue, Kathy. I just wanted to pop in and kind of make that note for everyone on the line.
Okay, no problem. Okay, and I don't remember where I was, so I'm going to click Update. Then go back out and visit the site. So the more often you use specific tags, they will start getting bigger in size. So as people, the most common things should stand out. All right, another thing we can do is add pages. So over here on the left, these About and the Contact Us and Archives are pages. So to create these, you're going to go back into the dashboard, then go to Pages and Add New. And these pages are just static pages, so it's content that's always going to stay the same. So if you had an About Us page or Contact Us, or you wanted to link out to, a specific site or something, you can do all that with these pages. You can also create custom links that just create or go out to sites, so I'll show you that too in a second. So let's just say I have an About Us page. I already have this on the site, but I'm just going to show you how I created it. I'm just going to paste my content in here. I'm going to call this About Us 2 since I already have one. And then again, the same thing. You have draft mode, or pending review, or published. So I'm going to go ahead and just publish it. And if I go visit the site, it should be there. It's not there. I don't know if that was it. David, do you know why it's not showing?
I'm working on that right now. Just a moment.
Okay. That's generally how you do it. There might be an option we need to turn on to make it show up, but we'll get back with you on that. Okay. Let's see. I think the next thing I want to look at is just some general settings. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard and then come down to settings and go to general. And this is where the name of your newsletter is and also where this tagline is. So you want to make sure that tagline is descriptive. Even though you don't really see it on your newsletter, it is in your tab and if people bookmark it, and also for search engine optimization, it's useful. And there's also an email address here. So this should be whoever comments are turned on the blog as well, and I'll talk about that in a second, but that email address is the one, whoever wants to be in charge of the comments, that's the email address that should go there. And I'm going to go ahead and go into discussion. And these is where all your settings for the comments are. So as I said, those are turned on. You can have it email you whenever a post or a comment is made. You can hold a comment for moderation, which is what we're recommending. That way you can control what comments are on your site. This also helps you control the amount of spam that would go to your, right on your site. And you want to stay on top of these. People expect it to be instantaneously. So if you send out your newsletter, just kind of be ready for those comments to come in. And okay. Then the next thing I want to do, go back to the dashboard. And then we have the statistics down here at the bottom. I'm going to click See All Stats. And here you can see the number of visits, the number of unique visitors, how many page views there were, and how many page visits. And I think David can clarify if this is wrong. I think the page of visit, they have to actually click on the title of an article, not just view your newsletter. So for example, if I just did this and then actually click into an article, I wouldn't get that page view. And I found this, and I think this, I found this site here that talks about the stats. I think we should just send that out to everybody so that you can read through what all of these mean. That's the views and visitors, views by country, all these different things. Let me go back. So here you can see the visitors by country, and down here we also have what your top posts and pages were. So that can show you what content is popular with your users. And this top referrals is showing how they're getting to your site. Okay, I think that's about it, unless you guys think of something that I've forgotten. Feel free to chime in.
Does anybody have any questions? Or anything that you'd like Kathy to go back over again? We might have moved through that a little quickly, but I think most importantly, want to reiterate that the back end of this dashboard is pretty self-explanatory once you get the hang of it. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to chime in now. We've got a chat in from Molly that she can't review the statistics tab on her dashboard. Kathy, can you review how to access this information?
Yeah. On my screen, it was clear at the, okay, let me go back to the dashboard. Oops, I'm in the dashboard. So on mine, it was just at the bottom of the page. I don't know if
There's also a menu item for it. Underneath dashboard, there should be statistics button.
so what you do is at the top, if it's not displaying here, there's a button up here called screen options, and then you can turn it on. And then over in the left navigation under dashboard, there's a link for statistics. So either way, either of those.
Kathy, we've got another question in from Christina. Can multiple people in an office get a login password to access the dashboard?
It has to be your own EID and password. It's not.
Can they be logged in at the same time though?
Yes.
Okay. So Christina, we'll just, everyone that needs access to your Cherokee County newsletter, just send us their email addresses and we'll get them access. But it sounds like multiple people can be logged in at the same time.
And what happens is if two of you are trying to edit the same article, it'll let you know someone else is editing it. And it gives you the option to take it over. Sometimes our staff leaves, they're done editing it, but they forgot to exit out of it or something. So you can go ahead and take it over or not. So it's up to you.
Megan, did you say, this is Shannon in Frontier District, did you say that you have created like mock-ups for everyone that's participating today, or where can we get access so that we could start, I guess, messing around or figuring out how some things work?
Yep, so in that email, one of the emails I sent you, it should be enewsletters.k-state.edu / in your case, Frontier District. Did you get that, Shannon?
I think so. I'll work on it here.
It should be in
Trying
the
to
email
get
that
my
I sent
computer
this
to
morning. There should be the appropriate link. Also, for everyone, something that I wanted to briefly touch on, how do you, the question of how do we then distribute these e-newsletters out? So what this becomes published is actually a link. So on your websites where you have links to, if you currently are doing an e-newsletter where you would put your PDF, your link to the PDF, you would simply highlight the link at the top and place that on your website, and that would always be automatically updated. You can also, since the great thing about this that it's a link, you can also share this via your social media channels. So as you, but you will have to, kind of one of the questions that I've gotten while on the road and talking about these e-newsletter templates is, what is the advantages of this template versus some counties and districts have constant contact? And correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy, but this platform should do everything that constant contact does, except be able to email out the e-newsletter as an HTML email. So what your email will have to be, you'll have to blind copy your Excel spreadsheet of your contacts And then you will, you can maybe write in this issue and kind of write maybe a couple bullet points in the body of the email, and then include the link to your newsletter in the body of the email. So no longer does it need to be an attachment, because some people might have trouble. They might not see attachments, they might not open them, but it is a link. Something that Kathy, I don't know if she covered, I know I've talked to a couple of you, but we're still working out some kinks. One of the widgets that you can add is the subscribe by email widget. Like I said, there are some kinks that we're working through that. So if you're interested in that widget, please contact me directly, and we'll work on, as we figure out those kinks, we might do a separate kind of Zoom meeting to talk about how to utilize that widget effectively. Because one of the kinks that we found was that anytime that you subscribe or you publish something, it automatically sends an email out to those in that subscribe list that it keeps internally. So if you write a post, publish it, then go back and edit it, and then publish it again, they're getting an email every time. And that's kind of a hiccup that's no one wants to receive that many emails. So we're still working through that, but that is an option. I know Shannon and I talked about that yesterday. But just wanted to let you know that that is an option there, but there are some kind of weird things about that David and Kathy are working to provide some clear and definite answers to.
Yeah, I just want to, actually, that was the state of affairs yesterday afternoon. We were able to get it so that you can publish, and it will send it at the moment that you want to send it. But it does what's known as a digest publish, which means it's only going to send in that email the last number of posts that you published since the last time. So you can't select which posts are going into that email. It's automatically only going to do the ones that you most recently published since the last time you sent an email. And any updates you make to the posts will not be sent a second time. It will only mail each one once. So basically, if you mail it that way, be sure that you're ready to mail it, because you only get one shot.
Right. David, we had a question come in on the chat about subscriptions from Cindy. There's a subscribers section in the dashboard. Wouldn't subscribers just be notified when there is a new edition posted? Was that kind of what you just addressed?
The subscribers are actually collected on the website if you turn the subscribe feature on. If you first do your subscribe settings, I wouldn't recommend just turning it on and seeing what happens, because a lot needs to be configured so that they get a nice clean email. But by default, it will send one out every time you hit publish on a new article. So each new post would send out an email to all of your subscribers in your system. That's why I would suggest not turning it on or using it until we set it up for you, because there's a way to arrange it so that it only sends it out when you're ready to send it and you hit the send button. But there are a number of things that need to be configured before that will work. And also just some logistical things, like the email that gets sent out has a default format. We want to make sure that it looks pretty. You don't want to use the one that just comes out of the box, because it doesn't use branded colors. It doesn't have your a K-State logo on it. So those things need to be set up for you as well before you start sending.
So long story short, the subscriber section does have some great opportunities, but as I've mentioned before, there's still just some kinks that we're trying to get worked out. So if you're interested in having that subscriber widget, I would encourage you to continue to play on the newsletter, continue to send out as you would anything else with just the link, and then let me know if you're interested in that, and we will certainly work with David to get that set up for you as we figure everything out. So we have another question from the Frontier District. Would a Google form work to collect emails? Then we could hard send an email when we are ready. Kathy or David?
I think the Google Forms would work, but there was also a plugin in here for forms, so I don't know what David's preference is. I'll have him add his 2 cents.
Sorry, I have trouble unmuting my left mouse button doesn't work very well. So the yeah, a Google form would work, but I would consider other options before I would move to that step. If you really wanted to collect emails in order to send an email later, well, unless you're using Constant Contact or something like that and you're used to that process and you want to maintain that process, I would really use the subscribe feature here to do that because it's more convenient. I mean, I guess some of the things that you need to think about, if you have a list of subscribers already from a prior publication and you want to get them into your WordPress, then they need to be exported as a spreadsheet that I can then use to import them into your WordPress so that you don't lose your subscriber list. These are some of the things that need to be worked out. It's not that it's impossible or it's really difficult. It's not. It's just that you can't do it without some assistance. So, and as far as forms to collect addresses and things like that, there are forms that you can use in WordPress, and I would use those before I would, again, try to integrate Google.
So to paraphrase, if you're working from an existing Excel spreadsheet and you would like David to integrate that into the WordPress system, you can send that to me and we'll work together to identify a timeline that works within David's schedule to get those integrated into WordPress. You can also add in the contact us form. And is that something that they can do themselves, David, or is that a plugin that they need HTML writing or code writing?
Well, I mean, it's possible for them to do it themselves, but I think that's something I would want to assist with just because it's more complicated than just setting up a post. There's a forms plugin that needs to be activated for the sites that want to use it, and then the forms actually have to be created. So I think it's probably easier if I would set that up for those who want that.
Okay, so everyone just, if this is something that, again, kind of with the subscribe by email, if it's something that you're interested in, we didn't know what to add to everyone's sites because everyone kind of does things a little bit differently. So just contact me and I'll get you in touch with David and we'll get you set up the way you need to be.
I remembered one thing I forgot to show is that you can actually, so we created pages, but you can also just create a link out to a site. So this archive site is just a link that goes out to this Beef Tips site. So I wanted to show you how to do that real quick.
That's a very good point, Kathy, for those that have existing newsletters and they might not necessarily want to reinvent the wheel and plug those back in. So you can link people to archived information.
So I'm going to go to Appearance and then Menus. And then this custom link. And then you just simply put in the URL to whatever you want to link to and what you want that link text to be. And when you do this initially, this menu over here, I think it says Create Menu. So you have to click Create Menu and then you have to click Save Menu and then it'll be added. So I just wanted to show that. So those archives you can do two ways. We have an archive page where we, when we switched newsletter sites, where we wanted to put a little descriptive information and then link to our archive. So we created a page for that to describe some information. But if you're just linking straight out to an archives page and don't need any description, then you could do the menu with this custom link. So just wanted to show that.
Very good. That was good thing to add, Kathy. Thank you. What other questions do we have? I know I'm certainly someone that I really don't have a whole lot of questions until I can dive in and kind of start clicking around and doing things myself. So if anything, we just wanted to kind of use this Zoom training as a way to get you started. And as you have questions, feel free to email myself or Kim Bird. We share an office, so reaching either of us kind of, if you can't get one, you can get the other possibly. But with that, I have another question in from Fontier. If we want to take this info from our About Us on our website and put it on our newsletter, is there an easy way to do that? I would say just copy and paste it from your website into your newsletter. And, or, you know, add your page for on your newsletter and then copy and paste the info.
That's what I did. I just went out to one of your extension sites and copied what you had on there and then just copied it over. If there's some formatting on those web pages that you don't want, copy it into like a text editor first or into the text view. If you have any formatting issues, we can help with that. But anyway.
Yep. I just want to make a quick point though. This newsletter is not, I know there's, you know, it looks a lot like your website, but just please note that this website, or this newsletter lives within your website, and this is not a platform to recreate your website. So the newsletter is just a way to push information out to people, and then you certainly want them to then fall back on and visit your website. So Kathy, if you could go to the live view of the newsletter. In this left-hand column where it has some contact information, like in this case, KSRE Research and Extension with the phone number, we can certainly add the link to your website here as well. So this newsletter, I want to reiterate, it's not to be a recreation of your website. It is just simply a means to add story, add information, and then push it out to your people and then drive folks to your website. So I think the contact us is a great way if you're hitting people and you want people to know who you are, but I also want to make sure that you're still driving people to your website because you can include a lot more content on your website. Any further questions? If not, for those of you that don't know, my email address is mnmacy, M-A-C-Y, at ksu.edu. And my phone number is 785-532-2110. So if you have any questions or need to get a hold of anybody, feel free to email me. Thanks, Kim. Feel free to get a hold of me and I'll get you in touch. I'll be completely honest, Kathy and David are the brains on the IT portion. They've done a great job helping us, and a lot of times I'll direct you to them or send your question to them, but that way I'm just kind of monitoring. Not everyone's flooding them with questions. So if there are no further questions, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for hopping in and joining us. I feel that this is a fantastic option as we move forward with trying to do some consistent branding across the board and making our newsletters look clean and professional, but still have lots of options to send out, to collect statistics, and to disseminate information. So if there are no further questions, I'll let everybody get back to their day. Thank you guys so much for joining in.